The following program contains views that are not those of WVTC, iNetworks Communications, their subsidiaries, affiliates, or financial supporters.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
I just sent it to you.
Good morning. I said listeners, but actually our viewers. Yes. Welcome to Windy City podcast.
Hello.
My name is Michi. I'll be your host for today because we're talking about But before I get ahead of myself, to my right and to your left is none other than talk to us, baby.
I'm Annette Harris.
Tell them who you are. Tell them who you are. Give us a little bit about
Well,
you.
you know, I co-host with Michi and Ebony here on Windy City Podcast. I am also a certified mental health ambassador.
There you go.
And my Sash Talk discussions are played every day on WCGM with our big brother Gerald Montgomery.
Yes.
And I'm all things psychology. So
Go ahead, all things psychology. And then to my far left, your far right, the beautiful and vivacious, energetic. Come on, Ebony. With this G, big brother hooked you up. So, y'all, come on, Ebony. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Oh, wow. I am Ebony. I am a mother, a wife, now on the radio, now on podcasts. I have a nonprofit, and we give away prom dresses and now scholarships to young ladies that are seniors.
Love it.
Starting on their next chapter in life. And so I'm just excited to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Y'all, let's give it up for Ebony and Miss Annette. Now,
Yes.
the reason why we're here today,
My pastor.
this woman of God, I met her like a gazillion years ago, it feels like, because her husband had a group called Reggie Royal and Judah. And so when I was on radio with WYCA, at that time it was 92.3 and 106.3, they would have their, you'd be singing and Reggie would have me MC, or I'm MCing something that they were a part of. So it's really good to just see them evolve, even like in ministry. And I promise they didn't age. I promise you. I see Reggie with the little gray hair there, but fucking good. Can I say that?
Right it up.
Good. Beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So I ran into them at Dexter Walker's recording back at Third Baptist, I believe the end part of last year or beginning of this year, one of the two. And that was our first time seeing one another physically, face to face in a long time. So,
wow.
man, I'm just elated that Juro even asked her to come, and we just have this discussion on hair loss. So, y'all, can I introduce to some and present to others none other than the beautiful, illustrious, anointed Pastor Lady London Royal.
Y'all, that's my pastor.
Oh, that's that little plug.
girl, she just threw that in there.
All right, so Pastor, I'm probably gonna put you on the end. That way you can face all of us. But that's okay. We're gonna do this.
That's okay.
Because I know you need to be able to talk and all of that. So let's talk about this thing called alopecia, right? All right. So I pulled up some stats, but we'll get into that a little bit. But just talk about even just your role as a pastor right now, because you transitioned. You just didn't start off being a pastor's wife, in ministry and stuff. So can you just give us a little bit of that journey leading into your role as a pastor's wife?
Okay, so let's see. I'll start.
I'm gonna get you a little closer to the microphone. There you go.
Okay.
Make it your friend.
So, of course, I was born.
That would help.
He didn't evolve. He was born.
What's the story there, brother?
That is funny. I love that. I
I'm
love
just
it.
going
I
through
love
a
it.
little bit of my journey, but I'll be 51 October 8th this year. And so I've been married to be 30 years, September 30th.
Yeah.
And so before we got married, as you said, we started a group Judah.
Yeah.
And so that was 1996, September 6, 1996. So we've been in existence for 31 years. No, almost 31 years, however you said. But no,
32.
29 because I just 95 is when I graduated high school and it's our 30-year reunion.
I get that mixed up.
That's okay.
It's not 96. We got married in 95.
Okay.
We started Judah. We didn't start Judah in 96. Whatever, 29 years. Okay. That's neither nor there. But we started Judah, and so I was soprano in Judah. We just going through in Judah. We really start ministry. Because whenever you're dealing with people, you're dealing with ministry.
Yes, ma'am.
And so God taught us in that space to deal with people, to love people. And so that's where we kind of started. I didn't know that I was going to be a pastor's wife.
Yeah.
I knew when I was young that I was going to be a minister's wife. I knew that God had shown me that. And I always tell people, if he showed me where I am now, I'd probably be scared. Like, what is really going on? So he shows me bit by bit.
Yeah.
And so we started Judah a year after we got married, which I would probably not advise people to do. It's a new marriage. You're starting with other people. We couldn't figure out ourselves. Then we're responsible for other people.
Yeah.
But that was 96. After that, we recorded, a couple albums. I'm excited about that. And then in 2007, we started Lifeline Church.
Yay!
And so we've been pastors.
That's my church, y'all.
That's our church.
As she reiterates.
Right.
Look,
I love it. I love it.
But so we started that. So before, like I said, before I pastored, I was pastoring in a sense, pastoring the ladies in the group. So I'm like, okay, Lord, is this what you had for me to do? Because you just put me in this situation.
Yes, ma'am.
Like, okay, so I, acquiesced and did what he had me to do.
Come on, acquiesce.
Y'all got the words today. Y'all gonna learn something today.
I'm sorry. That fly. Okay, I'm sorry, lady.
Something new every day. But yeah, so that's kind of my journey, going from marriage, from being birthed to, marriage, then,
Pastor's wife.
And what I will say, you was talking about just having that group was part of ministry, and your ministry started evolved, it was there. And I will say that you all were really different than typical of the normal community choir group that was out here. Like they would just do more worship. So that's what they were really known for. So you want the presence of God in your place, get Reggie Royal and Judah up on it.
Wow.
And I look at I saw Sylvia Heiner. She was your manager or
she's
booking.
still with us.
Shut the front door.
She's elder at our church.
That Gerald talks about the candies.
That's the person I would be in contact with when want me to MC or whatever.
I'm manager.
Oh wow. Beautiful.
Oh my God,
You're just going down memory lane.
So I will say that you guys have been a blessing back then. And so I work at Powerhouse Chicago, right?
Okay.
And I was on camera one Sunday when Archbishop said we have a guest speaker. So normally, we'll know because we have to put the graphic in the system, all that good stuff. And I was like, shut up, they got Reggie. So when he came and he preached, y'all, he taught on forgiveness. I cried like a baby while just on camera. I couldn't even be focused really because it triggered and it convicted and it healed and it delivered. Just speaking on the importance of forgiveness. I just have to say that y'all like that thing. I had to make a post about it because that man wrecked us in the spirit realm, and it really challenged everybody who thought like you were done with. I don't bother me. I ain't moved. Man, listen. Like I was forgiving people that died, like my ex-husband.
Doing things against him.
And he's like, I did not know this was, I'm texting the church, letting them know because of what he was saying. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So it was just so powerful.
That's good.
And then let me fast forward to now. I watched your video about coming out with alopecia, right?
Okay.
You hadn't even spoke a word yet. You just walked out on stage. Pastor Reggie he was already out, and your sons came out with you. And the audience, everybody just boo-hooing. And that's what I was telling you. My husband was like, what you crying? All that crying for? Like,
They don't understand.
But I can legit feel like the power. You can feel the spirit of God. You can feel the anointing just through the musicians.
It was good.
They weren't even doing nothing all they were just playing while Pastor Reggie was talking. They were just playing. The anointing was just so heavy at Lifeline. Baby, I was like, okay, I gotta schedule myself off camera so I can get over to Lifeline on Sunday. So I can experience this in the But you came out, and the ladies, they presented like they were doing different talks, or like it was like a little skit, right? Off the chain. And then you begin to tell your journey about how you I think you recognize you had alopecia, as well as just you know what, forget it, I'm just gonna go ball with it. Just so, can you give us that story about embracing alopecia, being okay with it? Were you okay in the very beginning? Like, how did that happen? So please talk to us.
So just start with that service. What you felt was a spirit of freedom. And so it was freedom for me.
Lord, this is so good.
Spirit of freedom, because I had been held bondage and captive to alopecia and to wearing the weaves and wearing the wigs and all of that, and letting my hair be me. And when I shave my head, it's like I am not my hair.
Wow.
And so I think that journey for me started, the whole hair journey, as Black women. My mom was a beautician. So my first hair journey was a press and curl with the stove. They put the little
my
on
mom used to do that.
I felt my edges burning. You got the black marks in the back, that heat, everything. My journey started there. So I just used to love my hair. I loved the little bangs. All my little kid pictures for school had these old bangs. I look back, I'm like, what was I really doing? That was way back in 1980s, I guess. Those little bangs were a style. But just keep in mind the bangs. Okay? That was as a kid.
Okay.
So then I followed through, and I said, okay. Then my mom got said, okay, your hair is not manageable, whatever. So I'm going to slap a Jerry curl on you. So I had a Jerry curl, but she told me it wasn't a Jerry curl. She said it was a carefree curl. Chemicals. So going from natural hair, because she couldn't manage it, she straightened it with the pressing comb. Then, okay, I can't do that no more. So let me slap this carefree curl on you. That's when the chemical started. I didn't know it. It hadn't manifested. It was just soaking in all the chemicals. So I would even be embarrassed as a kid because of my hair. I'm embarrassed. So I got baby dolls. Back in the day, you didn't have black baby dolls. You had the white baby dolls with the blonde long hair. And I would comb it. So that was my personification, in a sense, of hair. It had to be long and straight. So when I got the curl, I'm like, what is really going on? My curl was dry at times, and I had to, dump all the chemicals in it to keep it. And then it was dripping. My thumb was blowing. I thought it comes from backing up my curl. But I had those moments at home. My headboards were messed up because of the curl.
No, for real.
Me and my mom had, and I think my brother had one, Jerry curl at one point too. So, but I wanted one of those leisure curls. They didn't have all the juice.
That's the one I wanted.
Oh, I know. But she didn't give me the leisure curl. So in high school, look at this. High school, I got this Jerry curl just dripping, and when it first gets done, it's real dry. And so you got to stuff it with juice to keep it moist. So I'm going through trying to catch boyfriends and all that. You can't do that with no Jerry curl. So then my junior year pictures, I said, Mom, I want to do something different. Let's straighten my hair. So she blow dry, because you could blow dry. So the curl was a little versatile. You can blow dry. She blow dried it. It was my hair came all the way down. I was like, oh, it was silky smooth like my baby doll. So I said, okay, let me do this. And then after the pictures, she said, okay, we're going to do it again. So we washed it back, and it shrunk right back up into the curls. So I went through that cycle again. In my senior year, I said, let's do it again. I wanted my senior pictures. I want to have it long and silky. And even though my hair was shriveled up, it was very long. It was like middle of my back when it was straightened. I'm like, okay. After senior year, I said, you know what? I'm going to make my own decision. I'm going to get rid of this curl because I don't like this curl. Got rid of the curl. I went to another beautician, more chemicals. She put a perm on top of the curl, but I knew the consequences. They said once you do this, your hair is going to come out. I said, okay, I'm fine with that. So I did that, and I could hear as she was combing it, I can hear like my hair just
your hair was just ripping out.
It was just ripping out, literally. I'm like, okay, what is going on? So I ended up with popcorn curls, but I said, leave me a bang.
Right.
I had to have
just
my
seen that in
bang.
the
I said,
picture. Famous
leave
bang.
me a bang.
Yes.
So I had popcorn curls left with a bang. And at that point, I still didn't understand what all the chemicals were doing to my hair at that time. So I was fine. When I got married, I had my hair laid, dyed, and fried to the side. It had grown a little bit, and it was still popcorn curls. I'm like, okay,
I can see the picture in my mind.
Yeah.
My hair was cold. I mean, I really liked it. At that point, that was who I was. You know, that was my hair.
Yeah.
So it started growing back.
Yes.
It started growing back. And at one point, it started thinning at the top. And I'm like, okay, what is going on? So I went to the beauty shop. I had her kind of make sure that nothing is that everything is solid. So when the wind blows, nothing will blow up here. So she spritzed it and spritzed it so much so that people in the beauty shop after me got mad with me because I was taking so long in the beauty shop. I'm like, okay, hold on. One time I went, my sister-in-law was going to the same beautician, and the girl behind me started talking about me. She didn't know she knew me. My sister-in-law came and told me. So I confronted her. I said, okay, what's going on? You know, you have your slot, I have my slot. What do you know? She apologized or whatever. But that was another, for me, a seed of shame. So covering up the spot, it got little, then it was little, then it started to grow. And I'm like, okay, what is really going on? Listen, when I went out, Chicago is the Windy City. This is the Windy City podcast.
Right.
I did not like wind. Because my hair would blow and come out of place. And I'm like, I can't do this. Shame was just continuing to be there. So I said, okay, now let me wear the wigs. So I started with weave first. Went to an African, they supposed to braid your hair, but they did a sew-in. And I'm like, this sew-in ain't right because the top is sitting up in a hump. I wanted everything to be like close to my head. Just so people
they don't
know.
do it like we do.
They don't do it. I said, okay, so I can't go to her. But I found somebody else that did it perfect.
Sure.
I said, okay, so let me go. But I live in the west suburbs, right? I was coming all the way to 180th out this way to get my hair done.
Oh my Jesus.
So not just getting the hair done. I paid $400 for the hair. I had Remy Outre. That was supposed to be the best.
Oh my God.
$400. I paid her to install it. And then I had her do it one time. And I'm like, it ain't really what I want. So then I paid her to install it. Then I went the next day to my beautician who styled and cut it. I paid her more money. I didn't save probably upwards of $20,000, $30,000 since 2018.
More than that.
I tried to calculate on the way. Wow. But I'm like, okay. I said, I can't do this. I always said I will not be wearing weaves or wigs my whole life. I've always said that when I, had my hair issue. So I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Then I started doing wigs. Like, well, maybe I'll give my hair a rest, do wigs. But the thing was, one of the beauticians, she told me, she said, you're eating your harvest. I'm like, what do you mean I'm eating my harvest? She said, every time, when your new growth come, you want it to be silky smooth. So every time she would do it, she would grab that new growth up, put some weave with it to braid it, to put the sew-in in. She said, you're eating your harvest. I'm like, wow, I didn't think about it like that. That was hair that wanted to grow, but I was pulling the follicles. I even had treatments that like shock treatments. Treatment. Wow. I'm like, what is what's like with the needles and everything? Yes. I'm like, okay, whatever. So then I said, okay, I'm done with all of this. Yeah. And so I started like watching TV. I started looking up because remember, I know I'm not my hair, but that's all I knew. That was my identity, my hair. It was long. Before I had the weaves, it was long. After I had the weaves, it could be as long as you want it. You just put 14, 16, whatever bump you want on there. You layer it, do all that. I had all the cute little styles, but I wasn't happy with that. So I said, okay, I started looking up different things. I think I saw a video. It was a picture about hair. Nia Long. No, she cut her hair. Sanaa Lathan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sanaa.
Napoli ever after.
Yes, that's it. Yes,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's
That
it.
was one of the things that kind of
Yes.
pushed me. I mean, she did it in a different way, but it pushed me. I'm like, okay, maybe I can shave my head or whatever.
And she shaved hers for the actual movie.
Mhm.
She shaved
Yes.
it in the movie.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was one of my inspirations.
Mm.
I'm like, okay. Then I started looking up pictures of people. You know, you could take it's like some apps on there where you can put your picture in and then show me how I look bald. So I did that. I'm like, okay, it might not be, that bad. So I was sitting on the bench in front of my bed. I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna do this. I talked with my husband, I talked with my boys, and my boys didn't know really what was going on.
Mhm.
I told them like a week before I actually did it. We always celebrate our anniversaries with them. And I told them about the hair journey, and I said, I'm gonna shave my head. What do you think? So my oldest, Justin, he was like, he had a processor, so he was just looking like, okay. My youngest, he looked up, he was like, he got that little look in his eyes. He was like, oh, I thought you had cancer. And then start eating.
Oh,
And I'm
bless
like-
his heart.
I'm like, okay.
That
Okay.
J.
Wait, how old were
So
you and how old
innocent.
were your boys at that point?
So I'm 50, that's 7 years ago. I was 43.
Okay.
I was 43, my 11 and 13.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yep. So my 11-year-old said
Okay.
that. And so I didn't understand it, even to just thinking maybe he thought mom is sick. So I had to explain it to them.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to the congregation. Not only did you see freedom, but you also heard gas like
Yeah.
there were mixed reviews. What did you
So
say?
that was when you said the skit, I was a part of that skit. So we were like standing in the back and we were talking. And one of the young ladies was like, give her a minute. She's coming out because we were waiting. Like it was just like a wait because you were in the back, like getting ready to come out. And we're like, okay. So then my first thought was, is something going on? She gonna announce that she's sick? That's what I thought. And then one of the ladies was like, no, and I was like, no, y'all. Like, so I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, something not right. So,
Wow.
And then we all was like, you know what? Just pray. So we're standing back there, we're talking, we're praying, talking. And then when you walked out, I was like, I looked at them like, yo, you sick. So
Because now you
right.
were still thinking.
So and she was like, it was Ayana. She was like, no, she was like, just wait. I said, okay. So I'm like,
me.
and she was like, I said, okay. And then when you saw, and I was like, oh, and I literally was in tears because I remember like you used to have your styles and you would sit like you would pull that bang.
Yeah.
You would sit and you were like, and then you would swoop that like you didn't bother your hair, but it was that bang. You would swoop that bang and make sure that swoop was right. Like that was, and your hair was always together. And I even at one point, because I had been there since 2014, I think. And I was like, okay, I know she always is, we wear, we do what we do. I was like, but I've never seen her hair. I'm like, okay. So I said, well, maybe she has alopecia. And I was like, well, maybe she doesn't want to be bothered with it. Because
you do have people like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was like, so, but when you did that, then I was like, okay. So it was full circle. But it was definitely a freedom that the house was, wow. It was so many people that went to our church afterwards cut their hair because they were going through similar things.
Really?
And even not just with hair, there was freedom in so many areas of life. So that's what it was definitely. It was a moment that transcended. Like you definitely touched all of our lives in walking in your freedom. You definitely helped us.
Thank you for sharing that, Ebony. Pastor London, what has been, and I'm gonna turn it over to Annette because she wants to ask a question too. But what has been like the challenge? Because I didn't give my story yet, but I just want to continue with you. What has been the challenge in becoming this free individual now? Like what challenges have you faced being bald? Like for real, like what has been those challenges for you?
Good question.
So the first challenge was like she just said, people thought I was sick.
Yeah.
I don't want to belittle those that have to shave their heads or lose their hair because of those things.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, but I can't let people put that on me.
Oh, absolutely not.
And so a year or a couple months after I shaved my head, I went to a conference and one of the young men, he had seen me when I had hair. And so he immediately thought, he was like, oh, I'm praying for you. My assistant did this. And I'm like, okay, I know he thinks that I have cancer. I don't want to kind of tell him, no, I don't have, because I don't want to be insensitive. So I'm kind of like in a pickle.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the things. And when I cut it, a couple of people did. I was in the store. Somebody else said, "Oh, I go to Elder Hines' old church. I go to her church, and I'm just praying for you. And I don't want to have to be in a position where I'm telling it all the time, I don't have cancer." Because like I said, I don't want to be insensitive to those that's their lot. And this is my choice. I could have kept, dealing with it or whatever. But even in those times, the Lord always reminds me that you are beautiful, that you are mine. People everywhere I go, it's like people say, "Oh, you're," and they don't know that they're saying that. They're like, "Your hair is so beautiful." But then they catch themselves. I'm like, I totally understand. But people in the restaurants, it's like God is always reminding me, even if the devil tries to say, you are your hair, he always reminds me, no, you are beautiful. Your hair doesn't make you. So the challenge is, one of the challenges is that now another physical challenge is the sun kind of bakes my head, so I gotta always have a hat. And sometimes I forget, and I get cold sometimes. My husband, he's like, "You always got," he said, "You always have a hat in the car." I'm like, "Well, I forget, even though it's been 7 years, I forget that I need it. I forget that I need that." But that's a main challenge for me. People feeling sorry for me because they think something different. And this was my choice. Now I think nowadays it's a fad. People are doing it just to be doing it, whatever. But 7 years ago, I didn't see that.
No,
I didn't see that.
No. And that's when I actually went bald, 2018. That's
me, 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
Wow.
So I did it
same year.
February, March of 2018. But go ahead with your question, Annette.
Wow, I am just so, can I first say this, inspired actually by both of you. And no, you are not your hair. You're both beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I always look at Michi. It's my first time meeting you. And I always say how beautiful she is. And not only, the physical looks, but you're beautiful inside because you've chosen, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I like that last explanation you gave. You didn't want people to think that you were constantly sick. Okay. Well, I want to start off with that. But I want to ask both of you, were you officially diagnosed with alopecia, or was it just, we heard your story. I really haven't heard many details about Michi's story, but if you guys can answer that question for me.
It was a self-diagnosis for me.
Okay.
I think my mom dealt with that. So when I was young, I would kind of help her cover her spot. And she actually 2 years ago, she actually went bald. I was talking to her on a text. She said so many people even tell her she's beautiful and all that.
What's your mom's name?
Carrie Wright. I don't
Come
know.
on, Miss Carrie. Congratulations. Oh, we got people that have been talking to us, y'all.
They have.
Sorry,
let me tell you, y'all see them
in a
numbers.
minute.
Y'all see them numbers? That's because of Michi and Lady Royale on today.
Carrie Kelly said you are absolutely beautiful. Who is that? Katina? You are such a beautiful, Pastor London. Yes, inside out. That's what you was just.
That's right. That's right.
Yvonne Royal.
That's my mother.
Hey, Mama Royal. Go ahead on now. So this is really good. So I was officially diagnosed in 2006. I went to the dermatologist because I'm like, okay, I'm tired of these wigs now. Because I was wearing the braid styles. I went to the west side and got my little cute styles, and I was singing with New Direction. And then, then later on, I was just keep going to the west side. So, I had some cute, really cute styles. But it was pulling. There was too much stress on the scalp, on the follicles. And so not only does it run through my family, on my granddad's side, my mom's side, maternal side, because my mom hair thin, my uncles, all of them, but they know how to just shave it off and they good. For the women, we trying to cover it up. My mommy wear wigs. I used to tell my mom, come out the witness protection program, Mom. Let me go to the store. I promise you. I love it. I promise. She was living in St. Louis. Like, we'll go. I'm going to Sketchy and get you some wigs, and we're going to make this thing. I used to go on Austin. There's a Madison or Austin or something like that. Get my wigs. But so I was diagnosed in 2006. So they did what London was talking about. the treatment,
shock
and
treatment.
the shock treatment.
Oh,
They did the
wow.
shock treatment, as well as they were sticking me with needles, putting like this type of steroid in my scalp. So it was a little small, it was a little small needle, and he would just give me these treatments.
Oh, wow.
So I had like whole, like, I mean, I put my wig back on, but y'all, it really never, like, nothing happened, like, for real.
Okay.
So, but I was still like, my hair was my identity. Me, what wig you wear today, girl? What you do? Girl, I got this wig today. Now we gonna do this color. We gonna go blonde. We go, you know. So that was my identity.
Right.
My hair was my identity until 2018, when I was part of this thing. Tamil Curtis had this. It was like a contest, and so they needed a correspondent for the Stellas, right? February 2018. So I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do it. So I submitted, but then I was doing my wigs.
Okay.
So they was like, well, Michi, the question was, what would you do if you're upstairs in your room and you needed to, in 10 minutes, we need you downstairs because you got to do an interview. I was like, you know what? And they was like, because you got to do hair. And I was like, because I put a wig on and I'm, you know, so that was like the big gimmick for them, right? I won the contest. However, in the midst of between that contest and going to the Stellas, I wanted to go bald. So my sister, I had to do a photo shoot. My sister doing my makeup. I got a wig on. My sister was like, oh my God, Michi, you sweating too much. So I was like, let me take this hair off. Let me take the wig off. My husband was a friend of mine at the time. So he was over there with us.
Okay.
So my sister was like, Michi, how you gonna just take your wig off in front of him? You don't even know him like that. You know, I wasn't thinking about no marriage, and he was just my dude, like my friend.
Okay.
So I don't care about. Took the wig off. My son told me 2 years prior to that, Mom, you should go bald. No, I was like, He said, no, Mom, your head is perfect. No, ain't nobody finna see me. You know, it was spotted, y'all. I had like spots. Like it doesn't grow here. It doesn't grow. So it was just looking back. All right, so I won the contest. All I did the thing. Wow, see, you had more hair than I did on that picture. Yeah,
Okay.
I won the contest.
He's gonna open.
Oh, okay, good. I won the contest, and then, y'all. So I went down to Stella's and bald. Cause now, so the lady that was over the contest, the lady who has the show itself that I was doing a correspondence for, she was my friend on Facebook. So she saw, congratulated me, y'all. When I get to the Stella's, they did not let me do the hosting like I was promised because she said I changed my likeness. And yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, what are we looking at here?
This is the
ahead.
night before. I had weave in before, but I let them shave. So both of my sons, my husband, they had a chance to take a part in shaving my head. And if you can see to the left, to our left, there was the wig. That was part of that was the wig. That was the weave.
Wow.
So they had a chance.
That's the before.
She almost
That's
favorite
the before.
Bridget.
Oh,
That's what people tell me.
Yeah, you almost favorite Bridget. Bridget Campbell or Lofton. I think what's Brian husband's name? I can't think of it.
well, right.
Oh
What are we talking about?
So you see, it was long. So I let them cut it
Okay.
down so they can manage it to shave it. And that's of course Reggie shaving it. So that's a part of it.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, Lord. Okay,
Can you share during this time, what were your feelings? What were you thinking and dwelling on at this point?
I'm thinking like I'm not gonna have to worry about these sew-ins and the pain of the sew-ins. Because you know, when they pull that hair back at first, I'm like a Chinese doll. My eyes are just pull back and everything.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the freedom.
Okay.
I was thinking
That's
of
good.
the freedom.
Really?
And I was also thinking too, like maybe in the very back of my mind, what would people think?
Okay.
But that wasn't a forethought because I'm doing this for me. You know, so I think I had to continue to keep I'm doing this for me at the forefront. So I wouldn't even be concerned about what everybody else thought.
Yes.
That's so impressive.
I remember, so we were in service and the service when Pastor London came out, but they were showing those pictures and you were speaking a sermon the entire time. But that one picture where you got down to like almost the base and you could see the spots and the blotches. That was the picture that took me out because I was like, oh my gosh, she's been dealing with this the entire time. Like you never know what somebody else is going through.
Right.
And we get all together, we put it all together because we got to come out
looking good.
We got to, we got to present, we got to do. But that for me, like I was no good after that picture. Like I was just like, wow, like the empathy, the just all the things. And then now for you to, be okay and like to be this, and You never wore a wig since you. And I remember that day you were like, you know what? I might wear wigs here and there. You know.
Have you been
But
tempted to do that? So that was my question.
I did Father's Day.
Oh, well, that
I
one
think
presentation.
Father's Day
Yes.
last year. It was me and two of our other pastors. We came out as I think the Supreme
Yes.
or something. So I had to look the part. I had
Sure.
a little dress on,
Sure.
and so I bought a wig from like Amazon.
But that was it.
But
That's
that wig was so hot. I put that on.
Yes.
I had to take this off.
Oh my
God. For me.
God.
I didn't
Yes.
know who I was.
Wow.
Like that, and I was like,
That's not like me. I said I made you one just at church one Sunday. I was like, I should just throw a wig on, get on camera. They'd be like,
Yeah.
you know, one thing, but a challenge for me, going bald, y'all, it actually messed with my esteem when they told me I couldn't do the host. They didn't even tell me.
absolutely.
They overlooked
Right,
me.
I can
I'm
imagine.
gonna be honest. They didn't even tell me I wasn't gonna host.
Until
I
you
just
got
sat there
there.
for 3 hours. No, I sat there watching everything go by, wondering when they're gonna call me.
Oh, you were
up
still
there to do-
thinking you were going to
I was-
host.
Yeah, because nobody told me nothing
Nobody
different.
told you. What?
That's
Now, that's
crazy.
a
So you
shame.
talking about
Listen,
rejection?
That's
And
a shame.
but that's another seed planted in you that
Come
you
on.
are your hair.
come
So now
on.
who are
Yep,
you
there
without
it
the
is.
wig?
Come
Right there, right there,
on.
right there.
That's the continued
Come
narrative of the
on.
enemy to make you think.
Yep.
that. Yeah.
And it actually made me
Wow.
actually regretted it. So I have a website called Bald Bold Free, and I put
Your
in there
pictures.
a little bit of my story, even my pictures of how my hair was. You know, people didn't know all the people I used to sing with. Baby Dream. So when I came out February of 2018 and made a post about it, I think I had like 400 back then. It's like 400 some comments, shares, and all that because they were like, and I did my Wakanda Forever pose. You know, 'cause
I love
that, Black Panther came out that year as well, and I saw those women.
Yeah, like, oh,
Not knowing they really went bald.
Right.
I didn't,
But
I didn't know.
it's still, yeah.
but it looked
was a
so
great-
freaking
yeah.
good. I was like, oh, shoot, okay, I can do it, y'all.
And what's
And-
the name of your website again?
It's called baldboldfree.com.
Baldboldfree.com. Listen, I asked you that question, Lady Royale, when they were showing your pictures, and Nemichi showed me hers about, you know, how you were feeling, because there is a study that talks about, you know, going through this, you may experience depression and, you know, all kind of different things. So that inspires,
Oh, no,
that
I
inspires what you were saying. I dealt with not alopecia, but I'm gonna tell you something. I can only imagine what you ladies are going through or have gone through. And you know, like you talk about, you are your hair, you're not your hair, and all that. Back in 2020, you know, when we shut down,
yeah.
you know, we couldn't go anywhere, couldn't go get our hair
Couldn't go
done.
get our hair done.
Now my hairstylist came to my house, gave me my touch up because that I was still getting a
Sure.
relaxer.
Mhm.
When I tell you, I broke out from the top of my head to the sole of my feet.
Oh my
Just
God.
horrible. And so I couldn't, and then I couldn't have anything on my head or my skin or whatever. And I went through dealing with trying to get wigs and stuff and everything. See, I'm on social media like every day, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't, you know, I'm like, okay, at that point, I was thinking I am my hair. So how I'm being presented. And then, of course, after I haven't had a relax in like 5 years. I went natural from that point. This is all me,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like, thank you, I appreciate that. But it was like I can
That's the
understand how someone can, you know, have that feeling of I need this to look a certain way. There's Michi. I love it. I love it. And so I am
I love
grateful to hear both of your testimonies that you did not sink to what those statistics
Thank
say, you know, about that, you know, because it could. So I want both of you to kind of encourage those who may be watching, that are listening, maybe experience that depression or that sadness because
even
they've had to
fear.
go bald.
Fear, suicide thoughts hit
Mhm.
me. Suicidal thoughts. So y'all, when I went bald, like I said, when they did that to me and they didn't tell me, and here I am looking forward to, I had an outfit made. Like I was excited about, I'm gonna be on Stella's red carpet. I was supposed to be we were in Vegas. I was supposed to just do all what I was told to do. So
Yeah.
I got married the following year. My husband ended up proposing, blah, 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 all of that. You know, he didn't care about the hairstyle. He was just like, you know, it's good, whatever. You know, so it was no big thing. We were on our flight to Hawaii, y'all. I literally heard the enemy tell me to open up that emergency hatch
no.
and jump
Oh,
out
no.
because my life was like, y'all, that
Oh, no.
thing, It hit me twice. It hit me when we were on our way to Hawaii. It hit me when we were on our balcony on the 10th floor in Hawaii. Third time. Then on our first year anniversary, because COVID was happening, we went to New York. The enemy, we're on the 42nd floor, tell me to jump off the, like it was. So, and I always wondered, where did that seed, where did it come? Right. And I heard you just talk about it. So I didn't realize that rejection was so, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too, girl.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
I've never opened up and said anything. Only told my husband, like, I didn't want to live because I'm like, oh God, I never said nothing about this. My kids, nobody knows. Like, I literally, and so my husband, he took offense because he said, well, why you didn't tell me? Why? I said, dude, like, I was battling because I'm like, all I did was just want to be me. I've always just been me. But again, that hair was such a like big part of me. Even though I got a personality or whatever, my hair was such a big part of me that I didn't realize that rejection in Vegas really just, it put a dagger in my heart. And I realized like it even put like even my creativity or me doing what God told me to do, even as it relates to this. I supposed to have my podcast years ago. I know God told me ball free. I had the website done, but as far as I've gone, the website needs to be updated. You know, as far as I've gone with it. My sister is now bald because she has alopecia. But the fact that I didn't even want to live as a result of the fact somebody felt like me going bald was a big deal. Like me going bald was like, no, we can't even use you. Y'all promised me this. I signed a contract. My likeness, it don't mean just because I do want to do it didn't take away from who I am. Like, but I didn't, that didn't mean nothing to nobody back then. And then even my industry friends were cool. They were like, man, Michi, we got you. You good. Don't worry about that. They were telling me, but not knowing that a year later, how that would impact me mentally and emotionally to the fact I didn't even want to live. Like, I did not want to live because y'all feel like I wasn't good enough to be. I didn't. So now I hear stuff about Stellas. I'd be like, I never know. You never know where I would have been if they let me out there, bald on the red carpet, So now the enemy trying to mess with me, like, see, you could have been this further. You could have been further. You could have been doing this. You could have been doing that. So that's why I'm so diligent, even being here. And thank God for Gerald and the platform of Wendy City Gospel Music, because, like, that rejection was a mother, y'all. That thing. And then I go to church one Sunday, y'all. I hadn't even joined Powerhouse yet. A young lady come to me and say, Sister Michi, could you pray with me? She take me out to the hallway. I said, okay, church. She said, I need you to pray with me against the spirit of suicide.
See,
you don't know nothing,
See,
man.
I have this mantra that nothing will be wasted.
No
matter what we go through, whether we think it's like the worst thing in the world at that point, nothing will be wasted. What the enemy meant for evil, God is constantly turning it around for our good. The enemy's job was to kill you, because his job is to kill, steal, and destroy. He was doing his job, but listen, you are here. We're here talking to people, encouraging people. You don't have to be depressed. God has given us everything we need. He's given us freedom. And so when we operate and walk in that freedom, everybody else does it. Because you've done that, other people have been free. Because I did that, my mom has been free. She said somebody in her church got free. Because we stepped out, no matter what, where on the water we were, we stepped out. Beautiful. People are being free. And that's what the enemy didn't want. So he's trying to take your life.
Yes, he was.
He's trying to take your life.
Yes,
but he's powerless. He's a fool. He ain't got no power.
Yep. I got the victory on that one. Thank you, God.
That's right. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
This also makes me think of, I'm going to flip it to the male version. So my oldest son, he deals with hair loss, but he started dealing with it at 18, 19, 20. So my father always wore bandanas.
Okay.
And my father was his first father.
Yeah.
And so like, he loved my dad, did all things like he mimicked my dad. So he wore them all the time under his helmet, playing football, smothering his follicles. And Then he wanted the S curl like his
Okay.
sophomore year. And I was like, boy, you already understand it, but we'll do it while you got it. So we did it. He cut it a little bit, but I kept telling myself, you got to take that bandana off. You got to let your scalp breathe. We can get ahead of this. By his sophomore year of college, he had the McDonald arches.
Wow.
And it was so bad, but he didn't want to cut it. And I'm like, and I kept telling him, son, you're not your hair. Like, you'll be okay. But it was tough. And the pandemic, that's what made him finally face it and really deal with it. He did some counseling on it, and he shaved his hair off. And by the time he knew my father, like when he knew my dad had no hair. He was bald.
Sure.
But now he looks just like a brown skin version of
your dad.
My father. And now like he's okay with like he wears hats a lot, but he's okay with like taking the hat off.
Sure.
Like, but that's like hats are just what he loved. But I'm like, you know what? It's okay to show the world.
Yeah.
You're like
It's
it's
okay.
like you're
Yeah.
handsome, like and like we don't realize that men deal with it too, just like
Yes,
on a
they
different level. Like
Yes,
even
they
though
do.
they go, like they cut it off,
Yeah.
and we think you
But
know
they
they're
still
fine,
deal
but
with it.
but for him to be so young
Sure.
and have
Sure.
to deal with it like
Sure.
that, and then you know he has a younger brother with a head full of hair.
Right.
You know, my husband,
And you be
who's his
wondering,
father, with a head full of hair.
Yeah.
And so he's like, man, like, you know, that's a whole nother identity piece that
Yeah.
we had to talk through and deal with. But when he did the counseling, like we had a conversation, and I mean, as a mom, I cried because I was like, oh my God, he finally gets it. Because you can pray and pray and pray for your children, but they gotta walk through that revelation. So I mean, listen.
Men have come up to me too.
Yep.
And they were encouraged by me shaving my head.
Yep.
So I'm thinking it's just, maybe
Yeah.
women.
No.
But men
Yes,
too.
ma'am.
They're like,
Absolutely.
I can't believe you. But some people, I think you mentioned how she has a beautiful head. People come up to me. We're in the mall, standing in the Nike line at the outlet mall. And the lady comes up to me. She said, you're just so beautiful. I just love it. She said, I can't do it. I said, why? She said, I want to. My head,
Yes,
my
sure.
hair is shaped funny. I said, you know what? I didn't know how my hair was shaped
You
before I
don't know.
cut it off.
Sure.
I didn't even think about the shape of my head. But there are so many people that come to me and say, oh, you got so much courage. I wish I can do it. Older, younger, whatever. Some people have done it and they'll come and say, see, I'm like, praise God. But because we step out, other people can gain their
That's
freedom.
right. Yes, ma'am.
Permission.
And another thing I like about it is that now London, she doesn't have a whole lot of makeup on. So she's naturally beautiful. So I told them in a group chat this morning, I didn't wear makeup because I wanted other people to see like how it looks totally without. I probably put a little bit on my head because I get on.
We got to put a head.
I got to put a little bit on my head. A little bit on my head. Just to make sure it looks like sometimes a little foundation on your head. Yeah, a little even, because I get that from the men at the church. Michi, how did you? Because the one lady said, Michi, my husband needs to talk to you because he's trying to figure out how your skin, so even. I said, do he like makeup? Because then he would have to wear the makeup. That's what it's doing. Oh, so, but I didn't wear makeup. I already had the lashes on, but I didn't wear makeup because I want people to just even see like, you don't necessarily even need the makeup. Just be okay with it. First, you got to just, even within yourself, we were talking about a freedom. It's more than just being free of hair, but just being free indeed within yourself to be okay with what God has allowed. At our church, whatever someone mentioned about hair growth, this past Sunday, Lady Hudson mentioned about, and God, and if y'all want y'all hair grow back, I'm on camera. You can see people looking back at me.
Oh no!
Some folks on in the pulpit, they look at my way like how y'all uncomfortable because I'm okay with my hair not having hair. I'm okay, so people, people just be looking like.
That's another form of shame.
Yeah, like
But
it's
shame. That's right.
Because my hair didn't grow back. It's whatever God has allowed.
I go
Okay.
Yeah, I be like, I'm okay, boo.
A
I'm
lady
good.
told me, Michi, all you got to do is get some anointed oil and anoint your head, and God will let your hair grow back. I've been trying to do that. So
it would go long, strong, thick, and quick.
if God answer, if it's His will, He'll do it. If it's His will, then we know. You know what? Whatever state I'm in, I'm content. I'm okay.
Wow.
Y'all, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I was a little bit mad at the people's side because y'all being ignorant now. I'm so tired of hearing about a message that got something to do with it. The message is off the chain. But when you mention God can even, you can anoint and God will let your hair even grow back.
He know I
Because everybody look at me because I'm the only bald person in there, but a lot of you ninjas up in that hair looking like mine underneath that wig. There's a wig program and be free.
I never seen that. You talk about me. You get with that. Like you gotta do with your own.
Right.
Don't put that on me.
I don't know if it would be an elephant in the room, but can we talk about Jada Smith? Can we talk about the situation that surrounded all of that?
Is she real bald for real?
I don't know.
Oh,
That's
okay.
why I want to talk about it.
Because I don't know.
You know,
I don't
because we knew what happened, you know, with the slap and all that.
Okay.
And then
Sure.
after
Well,
that,
yeah,
you
'cause
know,
she was
'cause-
bald before that.
well, yeah, she was, but I'm
Mhm.
saying he will slap the Chris Rock,
Mhm.
you know, telling him to keep his wife's name out of his mouth because she looked like G.I. Jane is what he was saying. So,
Oh, yeah,
Which
what,
is one of my favorite
what were
movies.
you all thinking around that when all that happened? And I mean, I know you said you don't know if she's actually suffering from that or not, but I don't know. Does
I don't
anybody know? Which
I-
did she actually?
I have no idea.
I
don't know.
I had a
But what were
slightest
your thoughts?
idea.
Because they pulled alopecia into that.
Oh, I honestly, I still wasn't like truly invested. I was just like, man, he was just bold for slapping him. You know, I'm even as far as I'm using alopecia as like the reason, or all I was saying is I was just hoping that's what it is. You know, I don't want nobody just lying because a lot of women were just shaving their heads and stuff, and
Saying it was
Tamar and
And
you know a
some
lot of
people
them just
do it. Yeah.
and they just doing it, but
it became a fad.
it became a
Right.
fad.
Yes,
It became a
earlier.
fad. We were in Hawaii, y'all. I was walking down Honolulu. We was on Honolulu. Yeah, I'm walking down the street. Y'all can see the little white boy just looking at me.
Looking at you. First you black, then you bald.
And I'm tall, so you know. I just
touch
waving
it.
at
You
people. Y'all, I
tall.
can't start waving at people because I'm not gonna make. And then I had somebody profile to me in Denny's in Willowbrook. I'm gonna tell it. We was on Route 38. It's what? Caltech Road. That Denny's over there in Willowbrook. My husband, the kids used to live out there. So my husband, you know, they have 3 children before I came on the scene, right? So it's this weekend. We take the kids out to breakfast or whatever we did. Y'all had this lady. I'm sitting on the end. They over there.
God.
The lady said, oh, excuse me, can I talk to you? I was like, sure. Oh, you're so beautiful. She said, and the Lord is just telling me he's going to heal you from cancer.
Yo,
And
see, that's
no, ma'am.
what I'm saying.
You just
That wasn't it.
You do not hear from
Yeah,
God.
you did. Yeah, that was right. I said, no, ma'am. I said, my daughter had cancer, which was true. My daughter suffered with, you know, breast cancer twice and all that. She went bald and now she's dealing with lupus. And so she said, I said, no, ma'am. I said, it's
That's not me.
alopecia.
That's not
I
me.
just told her it's alopecia. That's what I said. It's alopecia. Oh, but I know God is going to.
No. He will. But going on.
You're wrong.
Going on.
You need to go back in her closet
and
pray some more. No, it's not cancer. Stop doing that. Yeah. So I'm gonna lie, y'all. Sometimes I get a little irritated with the people.
I
Forgive me, Lord.
imagine.
Because people can be really like insensitive or
Mhm.
and I'm so tired of hearing about hair church.
You know, a lot of times
Mm.
people tell me the hair was kind of hiding my features.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
on the outside, you feel on the inside, and people can
yes.
see your features.
And the brother's
With
coming.
that bang, I had, you know,
Baby, that's baby, that's
my bang had to be on point.
Baby, that bald now is showing a lot of confidence too.
It is, but you know what? It's not a challenge, but I have to do my hair every morning. I shave it every morning.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
do you?
then, I shaved. I got a red shave,
other
and I got
day.
another little shave. I just shave, and then I have my husband put his hand on it to make sure that it's all smooth because I want it to be like smooth as a baby's butt. you know?
Shout out to you, Pastor Ray.
But the thing is, as soon as I shave it,
Yeah.
hair starts sprouting back
Yeah.
up. I'm like,
Yeah.
Lord,
Yeah.
what? It just
Yeah.
hair sprouts back up. I'm like, okay. So then I was thinking, well, okay, Lord, it's sprouting back up. Should I just let it sprout back up, or should I just, will it grow back at the top?
Mm.
And then I started thinking, I'm like, you know what? If I had hair, I probably wouldn't even like it anymore because it's been 7 years. I'm like, I just keep shaving it.
You gotta answer this
Mhm.
question
Mhm.
because someone tried to, they came for me, right? And they was like, "But the Bible say your hair is your glory, and the Bible say a woman is not to be shaven; she's supposed to have her head covered." Blah 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 blah. Can you speak to that?
Oh, that's a good question.
The Bible also says that a woman shouldn't be speaking in public, right? So you take these scriptures out of context. I can take them out
And
of
here we
context, too. And here we are.
Wow.
How about you? You decide what God has for you. Don't come
Yes.
Get
'cause
your
I-
own
you know,
understanding.
get your own
Still,
understanding.
I'm still anointed.
I'm still a woman. I'm a woman who God made.
Hello.
I'm fearfully and
And
wonderfully made. With
made.
hair, without
With-
hair.
I know
out
that's
here.
right.
Because I tell people all the time, like, we can't predict like what was gonna happen and how. I'm sure what was said in the scripture. Alopecia was not.
context and
There
everything.
you go. There you go.
God created you.
That
Yeah.
He created.
He
you.
knows
there was no.
exactly what you're going through, what the situation is, and he's already set the path to how he's
Yes.
going to use that thing to
Yes.
help someone else in their life. As
Yes.
Pastor Randy say, tell them to shut up. We don't do that,
I
Pastor.
mentioned how the enemy takes things and
Listen.
try to twist it. So
God.
that's why I've been saying a long time, nothing will be wasted.
Yes.
So yeah, God, when I was born, I had hair. Now I don't, but because I stepped out into this platform, it's a freedom or whatever.
Oh my
God
God.
is using this.
My
and you
God.
mentioned about things that you were supposed to do, and that brought to my mind, I was supposed to write a book 7 years ago.
Me too.
You know, so it's like, okay, what are we waiting on? What are we waiting on? Because
We got
other
the
people need to
accountability
see
part
it.
or something.
Right.
There's a question by Pastor Reggie. Said, how do you handle people saying God told them about your hair, but you're content?
Liar.
At that point, you can say, "Well, God didn't tell me."
God didn't tell me.
Because he always confirms.
Folk
And that's
love to
why I
control
say
your life.
all the time people come up to me and you're beautiful. Even if I get to a point where maybe I don't think so, they always
that's
people I
good.
don't know.
That's
The
good.
I say, okay, Lord, you're always confirming to me that I'm
Yes.
beautiful. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made.
Absolutely.
Yes.
He knows when you need that reminder. He
Yeah.
knows when you need that wind in your back.
See?
To keep going. Mhm.
Ooh, I'm love. You know what? We had to ask our big brother. Can we have Lady Royale back? Because there's so much more we could talk about, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Even in just our freedom, he said yes.
Okay.
yeah.
Even in
All right,
just
hopefully
being
we get-
free,
yes.
excuse me, as a person.
Yep.
You know, because a lot of times we're just not bound by the hair situation.
Come
But we're
on.
bound by things that we've gone through in our
Yeah.
lives.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
We're bound by our lack of money, our lack of like we're bound by so much. So this freedom, not just say, "Oh, I'm free from the what people say, what society says about hair and how I look," but you're just free and just being who you like, who God created you to be.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And
That's
that's what we try to get to people and try to instill in others. God created you.
Yes.
Just be okay with that.
Be okay.
Mhm.
Be free to be you. Just be you. Like unapologetically being yourself without having to explain
That's right.
to this person and that person. Being free to just be. Free to be.
And
Free
when
to
you're
be.
free to be, somebody else can be free.
Come
Because somebody is
on.
waiting on you.
Come
They're waiting
on.
on us
Tell
to
it.
step into our freedom
That's
so
right.
they can be free. A lot of
That's
people
right.
are bound. We're talking about
Jesus.
hair. A lot of people are
So
bound
many
in that hair
things.
issue.
Yes.
But when
Yes.
they see somebody that's in
Come on.
front or
You
that
just
has
said something.
influence step into their freedom, then they'll be able to be free.
Jesus, I
Mhm.
got
You know?
And you can be
Go
free to
ahead.
write that book, and Michi can be free to do what she's supposed to do.
About that, yes. Here's the thing. If you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, go back to the
Go back
manufacturer.
to the manufacturer.
God, have your conversations with him daily, by minute, by hour, every day to find out who you be. Don't get it from
Jesus.
man. Go back to the source, which is God, so that you could be walking in your true calling and what you're supposed to be doing.
You ain't got to be spending all this money. Okay, I got to wrap it up. Listen to this. Americans are projected to spend around $2.2 billion on hair loss products in
Mhm.
2025.
Or hair
Well, how
loss
much on
products?
hair? That's just hair loss. How much on hair?
Wow.
That's just the product. How much on the outre? The Remy outre?
That's
9.48 billion in
Listen.
2024.
Wow.
I was gonna say, I know that's
Well, this sounds like it's to be continued. What y'all think?
Yeah, to be
Absolutely.
continued. We got to do it
Absolutely.
again. We bringing Lady
Absolutely.
London
I would
on.
love to come
And
back.
hopefully we can get our pastor friend, Lady Deanna Patterson.
Oh,
Hopefully
yeah,
we can
yeah.
get her over.
That would be nice.
That would be really good. Thank you guys
Yes,
so much.
Pastor
Again,
London,
thank
you
you,
gotta come
Pastor
back.
London,
Mhm.
for gracing us with your presence. And thank you, Pastor Reggie, for, supporting this great woman of God. Thank you all so much. And Ebony, Annette, Jer, we appreciate you for allowing us.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, we love you all. Stay connected to the South. I love it. Thank you, Sylvia. We love you all. Have a wonderful day. God bless you. Bye.
You guys.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ. WVTC Allsip Chicago. An iNetworks communication station.